Sometimes it's not the actions we take that bring misfortune. Sometimes it's the lack of action. Inaction and indecision invite misfortune. This relation between action and inaction is a common theme shown throughout the play Hamlet, being evident through plot development or within the distinctions between different sets of characters. Everyone must understand that while actions may have consequences, it is indecision that ruins us all. Time and time again, we see Hamlet given opportunities to make a decision and act on it. And time again, we see Hamlet hesitate and freeze. It is a common motif to see Hamlet doubtful of himself. For example, in Act 1, Scene 5, the ghost requests Hamlet to revenge his foul and most unnatural murder, to which Hamlet eventually responds, "And thy commandment all alone shall live within the book and volume of my brain." This seemingly simple task places a great burden on Hamlet, considering he does not fulfill his responsibility until the very end. This quote, this promise is the perfect example of Hamlet's indecisiveness and where it gets him. The lack of resolve Hamlet has puts him in a lot of stress. He wonders whether he should take his own life to escape the troubles of having to act. In Act 3, Scene 1, as he ponders on death, he goes, "Thus, conscience does make cowards of us all." This statement is crucial in discovering why Hamlet is unable to act. He is a thinker. He constantly overthinks every decision he makes, which leads him to freeze. Ironically, his overthinking is what saves him from suicide. Even when he gains the resolve after he successfully catches King Claudius in the mousetrap, he can't escape from his thoughts. In Act 3, Scene 3, when Hamlet sees Claudius unarmed and unprepared, he says, "Now I might do it pat. Now he is praying, and now I'll do it." But to no one's surprise, Hamlet changes his mind and believes it is not the right time. He constantly finds a fault in every chance he gets and refuses to act unless there's a perfect opportunity. His perpetual indecisive thoughts are what define him as a character and allow us to compare him to his foil, Fortinbras. Hamlet and Fortinbras are placed in very similar roles. Hamlet is the Prince of Denmark, whose father lost everything to his brother, including his life. Fortinbras is the Prince of Norway, whose father lost everything, including his life, to King Hamlet. See the parallels? But that's where the similarities end. Hamlet and Fortinbras could not be any more different. Hamlet, in this case, shows us the misfortunes that come with inaction. His father was wronged, but he cannot bring himself to take revenge. He is given countless opportunities and time, which he just throws away, eventually leading to the tragedy which befalls Denmark. On the other hand, Fortinbras is quick and decisive in his actions. He takes up arms and plans to invade Denmark to take back what his father lost. Unlike Hamlet, he is determined to take revenge on those who wronged his father. His courage is an admirable trait which even Hamlet envies. Comparing the two heroes' outcomes, we can see the difference between decisive actions and indecisive. Hamlet's wishy-washy nature ends up killing Polonius, leading to the death of Ophelia, and eventually almost everyone else. Not to mention, this whole time Hamlet is stricken with regret for not killing the king earlier. Conversely, Fortinbras breaks into the castle and successfully claims the throne to Denmark. As he claims the throne in Act 5, Scene 2, he says, "For he was likely, had he been put on, to have proved most loyally." His words are ironic because had Hamlet been given initiative, had Hamlet been assertive in commanding himself, he would have killed the king earlier and proved to himself that he deserved to live. Fortinbras' judgment and lack of hesitation lead to his success and the avenging of his father, which starkly contrasts the actions which Hamlet takes. The same comparisons can be made with Disney's Lion King. In this story, Simba the protagonist is also a prince whose father was killed by his uncle. Simba feels guilt for the death of his father. Later, eerily close to the story of Hamlet, Simba is met by the ghost of his father who tells him to take the throne. Unlike Hamlet, Simba takes responsibility and does not hesitate to confront his uncle. Like Fortinbras, Simba took the throne and avenged his father, illustrating the difference in outcome between Simba's action and Hamlet's inaction. Shakespeare's use of symbolism in his plays is phenomenal, often using objects to symbolize something greater. However, he also uses it to contrast two siblings, namely Ophelia and Laertes. It is evident after the death of Polonius that each sibling takes on a different approach to grief, each symbolizing their own take on what's best. Ophelia takes on a passive stance. She tries to just take on everything that life throws at her, whether it's her lover's words or the death of her father. She constantly tries to please everyone, not realizing that there's no world in which everyone is happy. Eventually, her problems pile up and lead to her going mad and killing herself. On the other hand, Laertes is the embodiment of action. He doesn't overthink his purpose. Again, similar to Hamlet and Fortinbras, Laertes' father is wronged. However, his decisive actions mirror that of Fortinbras, as he does not hesitate to kill Hamlet, even going so as far as to cut Hamlet unjustly when Hamlet is unprepared. Unlike Ophelia, who does not take action, Laertes dies with peace on his mind. Ophelia is troubled and kills herself to escape it all, hoping for peace in the afterlife. In contrast, even when Laertes, who took action, realizes that he was on the wrong path, he accepts his fate and even forgives Hamlet for killing his father. In Act 5, Scene 2, he says, "Mine and my father's death come not upon thee, nor thine on me." Shakespeare has an interesting balance between these two characters, where one dies in peace and one dies expecting peace. This is relevant in our current society as suicide rates are going up. People commit suicide to escape the troubles life brings them, just like Ophelia. Despite it being difficult, facing these hardships allows people to grow as a person. Finding a way to take action may allow people to attain peace in mind before the afterlife, just like Laertes. In a real-life context, everyone struggles with the same problems Hamlet has. People assume there will be a perfect time and a perfect place for them to act, but in reality, that time may never come. Opportunities pass far too quickly for us to give up on them, despite what may happen. The main struggle everyone faces stems from the fear of embarrassment. People are consumed with the idea that everyone will remember and everyone will judge them for any little thing they do. As if that one guy you pass on the subway will forever remember you farting for the rest of his life. He'll tell his grandchildren, and they'll tell their grandchildren, and that will be the only legacy you ever leave behind on Earth. While it may be difficult, it's important to grasp onto every chance you get. Ask that girl out to prom. Join the club that nobody likes. Because at the crux of it all, what you regret most isn't the decisions you make, but the actions you don't take. And now I'll ask you a question. Knowledge is power, but having too much knowledge can cause anyone to freeze. Should people always be fully informed about the decisions they make?